Now is your last chance to get your seeds sown before the end of the growing season. We're in August now, which is the last month of meteorological summer. So time is ticking now to get your seeds sown before it turns cold and it's too late. Now, August isn't a month which we often associate with sowing seeds, but there's actually a lot of things here which you can still sow in August. So keep on watching to find out what those are. Now, most of the crops which we've got in the garden are being harvested in August, and some of them are even coming to an end soon as well. So the things on my list here are crops which are going to grow super fast and give us a harvest before the end of the growing season. We're just trying to cram in as much as we can before the frosts arrive, and some of these crops are going to give us harvest through the winter as well, and some of them even in the spring. So we're thinking ahead and we're trying to get as much in as we can. But before we get into the video, I'd just like to say, if you find this video useful, remember to hit that like button, because it really does help out a small channel like mine a lot. So let's get into the crops which we can sow in August. Now, there's quite a few of them actually, to be honest. So quite surprisingly, you wouldn't think there was this many things you can sow this late in the growing season, but we've got about a dozen or so things here. And we're going to start off with the brassicas. These brassicas are going to be overwintered, and they're going to give us a crop late winter, early spring time. And the first thing is purple sprouting broccoli. This is a brilliant one for the hunger gap. It's going to give us a harvest early next year when there's not much else growing. So what you can do is you can sow these in August. I've already sown some actually in July. I've got some here. I've got some there. They're still small yet, so I'm not going to transplant them yet. But sow them in August, and then before the first frosts arrive, you'll hopefully have a plant that's big enough to be planted outside, or in my case, I'm going to put them in 30-litre buckets and overwinter them in the greenhouse. So get them sown in August and get them to a decent size before it's too late. Now, another brassica which you can sow in August is cauliflower, and this variety is called all year round. So this cauliflower is suitable for sowing throughout the year, to be honest. It actually says on the packet, sow January till October. That's a big window of sowing time. So if we sow these cauliflowers in August, we can overwinter it and get a crop next spring. So we're thinking ahead with that one. I don't really have much luck with cauliflower. I had a good crop a couple of years ago. I've not tried them since. I'm going to try some of those again, I think, and see if we can get a crop. Now, the last brassica on our list is cabbages, overwintering cabbages. Wintergreen and April, two lovely overwintering cabbages. I've grown these a couple of times. I've got some more here. I've got quite a few there. These are quite a good size already. I only sowed these a couple of weeks ago, and they're doing pretty well. They'll hopefully be a decent size to be planted on into buckets to then be overwintered. You want them to get to a decent size before the light levels get too low and before it gets too cold, because otherwise they're not going to have enough energy, they're not going to be strong enough to see themselves through the winter. So cabbages, a great one to overwinter. Sow them in August. I wouldn't really sow them any later than that, because like I said, you want them to get to a decent size before we go into the winter. Now, the next thing on our list of things you can sow in August is leafy greens, salad leaves. Quite a few of them here actually. I've got a winter hardy variety of lettuce there. This one's called all the year round, and this one is suitable for sowing in August, and it'll be overwintered and give us pickings through the winter and into the spring as well. So that's a great one there. Winter hardy lettuce. Another leafy green, perpetual spinach. This one is great for overwintering as well. It does quite well in the winter, and it's slow to bolt as well, hence the name perpetual spinach. It will just keep giving a crop over a longer period. Now we've got more lettuce leaves, rocket. I've already got some here actually, and they're looking really well actually. I sowed these at the same time as the cabbages there a couple of weeks ago. Look at those, they're doing really well. They've literally grown like a rocket. They've shot up really quickly. Yeah, sow some of those in August and you can get some pickings into the autumn months. I did that last year and we had some lovely pickings through September, October and November. Now the last thing on our list of leafy greens is Mizuna and mustard. Two leafy greens which can be overwintered quite well. Sow them in August, get them to a decent size and overwinter them and pick them over winter and into the spring. They're quite fast growing ones as well, so you can get a crop in the autumn if you sow them in August. Now we're also going to be sowing some onions, some spring onions. This is a winter hardy variety, White Lisbon. This is slow to produce bulbs as well, so you can leave them over winter and into the spring and they're not going to produce a bulb very quick, so really good for late winter, early spring harvests of spring onions. Another fast growing crop here, radish. Sow them in August and you're probably going to get a crop before autumn arrives, and in literally a matter of weeks. They grow super quick, do radishes, so this is all about getting a quick crop before the end of the growing season with the radish. Now, beetroot are quite a fast growing one as well, so you can probably get away with sowing some of those in August too and achieve a crop in the autumn months as well, especially if you're growing these under cover. Now it says on the packet here, so March to July. That's just a rough guide really, so you could get away with sowing these in August just fine. You're just going to get a later crop. Now, we've really enjoyed our carrots this year. We've sown carrots in buckets and enjoyed some lovely baby carrots, and I've got a couple of nice beds of carrots outside as well, and I've had the best carrots ever this year. I never usually manage to grow them, but I've got quite a few varieties here and I've made many different sowings this year, and I'm going to continue to do that in August as well. I'm going to sow some in buckets in August. I've got Autumn King, Amsterdam Forcing, and yeah, that's it, Autumn King and Amsterdam Forcing. I've also done some early Nancy's this year as well, but I've not got any of them left. So you can get some carrots sown in August and pick them as baby carrots in the autumn if you want, or leave them through the winter to continue to grow and give you a crop end of the winter into early spring. Or if you want to grow a quicker growing crop of carrots, sow some early Nantes and pick them as baby carrots, or grow some Chantenay types which will grow super fast and hopefully give you a crop before the winter arrives. So carrots can be sown in August, the last month really to get those sown. Now we're also thinking about Christmas potatoes in August. This is the time now to sow your potatoes for Christmas. I did that last year and I had a problem with blight, so I'm not doing that again because yeah, I have a big problem with blight. But if you've not got a problem with blight, then go ahead and sow your potatoes in August and you should end up with some lovely Christmas potatoes come Christmas time. I do wish that I could do that, to be honest. I'm a bit gutted that I can't get away with doing that. I'm just going to try and save some of my main crop potatoes for Christmas instead, because last year when we had the blight we ended up with literally just teeny tiny potatoes Christmas time, and they weren't even worth doing anything with, to be honest. That is the yield. I have nothing to say. Now the last thing on our list of things which you can sow in August is something which you can sow throughout the entire year, to be honest, especially if you're growing at home on a windowsill through the winter. You can get away with sowing these throughout the growing season, and that is herbs. Many different herbs, especially annual herbs like parsley, coriander and sweet basil. Chives as well, whether it's normal chives or garlic chives. I quite like garlic chives actually, I've got some on my plot, they're lovely. Various different annual herbs, sage, dill. What you could do is you could sow them in August outside and then get them to a good size, and then when it starts to turn cold in the autumn, pop them up and bring them inside and grow them on your windowsill through the winter. I think I'm going to be sowing some of those in my herb planter at home, especially parsley, because I've got a lot of garlic which I still need to go through, and we like garlic bread. That's our favourite thing to do with our garlic. So I'm going to be making a lot of garlic butter which requires parsley. So that was just a bit of a quick one today, going over the things which you can sow in August, and as you can see there is still loads and loads of things that you can sow in August. So many things left. Quick growing crops which are going to give us a harvest before the winter arrives, and some of those other things can even grow through the winter and give us crops later on. So not often a month associated with sowing seeds, but loads and loads of things to still be sowing there to get some more harvested in. I do hope you found this video useful and you enjoyed the watch. If you did, then hit that like button because it really does help out a small channel like mine a lot. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and you'll never miss whenever I upload videos in the future just like this one. So that's all for now guys, just a quick one today. I will see you in the next one. Happy gardening and stay safe.